Final 53-man roster is here, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. Y'all know what time it is. We are officially back. It feels like we just got done doing this, right? But final 53-man roster is finally upon us, you guys. Let me get this back up real quick. Salute to everybody already here in the building, man. Make sure you guys wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm excited. A few surprises, you guys, on this list. We're going to go over it. It's not going to be a long live. We're just going to go over the roster real quick. There will be some changes, though. There will be some changes here soon. Remember, we're going to look elsewhere to bring in more talent. A lot of guys are losing their jobs with their respected organizations. So we will be looking at more talent to bring in on this roster. So Tom Telesco, AP, and company will be scouring the streets trying to see what's out there because there's going to be a ton of talent from other teams. But some shockers, you got. I gotta admit, I was wrong. Ramel Keaton made this roster. Hey, man, after look, we butchered him on that Niners live stream, you guys, early on. Then he definitely made up for it there in that fourth quarter, specifically that one drive where him and Carter Bradley just carved up the 49ers defense. But, man, Ramel Keaton made this roster. Let's go over this real quick, man. Salute to everybody that's just piling in. So we waived the following players. David Agoa, Clark Barrington, no surprises here. Carter Bradley, who will probably end up on a practice squad. Britton Brown, 7th rounder out of UCLA. It's going to be interesting to see if he falls back to the practice squad. Matthew Butler, after having a sack against the Niners that last preseason game, he was let go. Terrell Bynum, Andrew Coker, the UDFA at TCU. Cole Fotheringham. So we lose a tight end here. He may potentially make it back to the practice squad. TJ Franklin, Will Governor, Jaden Grant, another guy that I know they want to keep on the practice squad. Tulu Griffin, another UDFA that a lot of us had high hopes with, potentially being a special teams guy for us. Marquand McCall, my guy, Sincere McCormick, which I do believe he will end up back on this practice squad. Salute to my guy, Sincere. You guys already know I am his unofficial agent, but I'm hoping that he makes it back to the practice squad. Jalen McKenzie, who struggled during the preseason. Dax did not make it at the wide receiver position. Jackson Mitchell, Will Putnam did not make the roster, you guys. It's going to be interesting to see if he falls back into our hands and we could put him back on the practice squad. But he looked pretty good out there in preseason. A lot of people in the nation have high hopes for him. We shall see. Phelan Sanford, Noah Shannon, John Samuel Schenkner, the UDFA tight end, I believe, out of Auburn. Jaquan Shepard, a guy that had a top 30 visit, went undrafted. I'm assuming that they want to bring him back into the fold in the practice squad. Keep an eye on him. I know they had high hopes for him, and they like him a lot. Keep an eye on him. Charles Snowden also. We already talked about him earlier on in the show, hoping that somehow, some way he can fall back to the practice squad. Dalton Wagner, that experience may be gone, you guys. The Dalton Wagner experience may be donezo at this point. We shall see if he falls to the practice squad. Sam Webb, Deshaun White, who we just signed, I believe, to a one-year deal, roughly $800,000, somewhere around there. Rashad Williams, the UDFA out of Texas Tech. Then we released these guys: Cornell Armstrong, Alex Bachman, Zach Gentry, Jalen Guyton, Nathan Peterman. Shockingly, Christian Wilkerson did not make this roster, a guy that a lot of us in the nation assumed would make this team. So interesting, man. You know, a guy that came in from the previous regime was a Patriot guy. You know, he looked fairly good for us in training camp and in preseason. He's not on this roster. So going to be interesting to see where he goes moving forward. We also waived Corey Luciano, who we just brought in, Ellerson Smith, who looked okay for us in preseason, Ron Stone Jr., the UDFA defensive end, is also waived as well. Trey Taylor. So our guy will stick around. He was placed on the designated to return injured reserve list. So you love to see it. Trey's dealing with a knee injury, you guys. He should be back here pretty soon. And I don't know why, but they put Darian Butler, our UDFA linebacker out of Arizona State, on this list as well as waived / failed physical. So there you have it. But our guy, Trey Taylor, 7th rounder out of Air Force, will be on this roster. He will start this season off on the IR, trying to get that knee together. But what do you guys think about this roster here, man? Some interesting names. Brandon Faison. He made the roster, you guys. Brandon Faison. I don't know if this was just them holding him out, and I don't know what it is with Brandon Faison, you guys. He was dealing with an injury. I believe it was a lower leg injury, but he is nowhere to be seen on this list. He made the roster. Amari Burney made the roster, former 6th-round linebacker out of Florida. Made the list. Tyreek McAllister made the roster. Amari Gaynor, baby. He made this roster as well. Tommy Eichenberg will make this team also, you guys. There was no way that he wasn't going to make this roster. Yeah, look, he's not on it. He's not on there. Mwaga, he's not on this list, you guys. He was not cut. He was not cut. So it looks like he is on the active 53-man roster, at least for now. At least for now. And once again, yes, Q, Ramel Keaton made it, which I was shocked. I thought that we were going to put him on the practice squad, but we're going to carry 6, you guys. Devontae Adams, Jacoby, Trey Tucker, DJ Turner, Ramel Keaton, and who was the 6th, you guys? Trying to see who was that 6th guy. I think I already named him, right? Devontae, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, DJ Turner, Ramel Keaton. Who am I missing, y'all? Who am I missing? Oh, Tyreek McAllister. I'm sorry. Tyreek McAllister. So we are carrying six receivers, you guys. There you have it. There you have it. Cole Fotheringham did not make the team. Zach Gentry did not make the team. So it looks like we will be carrying 3 tight ends going into this season. I'm assuming, right? We have Harrison Bryant at tight end 3, Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers, that 1A, 1B duo at the tight end position. So we are carrying 3 guys. What do you guys think about that? Carrying 3 tight ends going into week 1. Hey, Wasted. I got it right. Everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody assumed Graphk Raider was going ape shit bananas by saying that we're going to carry 3 tight ends. Well, here we are. No, he did not make it, Rackham. He did not make it. He was also released. Salute to Raider or Die 86. Let's go, Graphk. Told you were sleeping on Brandon Faison. He will produce during the season, I'm hoping. Well, I mean, it's easy to sleep on him, Raider or Die, when you don't see him out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't out there in training camp, was dealing with an injury, missed all the preseason. We heard all the hype about them loving the measurables and him being that veteran presence in that corner room. But at the end of the day, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, you're going to sleep on him when you don't see him. So, you know, I don't think anybody was tripping with having him not make this roster. And it's still, you know, once again, it's still early, you guys. And MJ Devonshire made the roster, you guys. MJ Devonshire, 7th rounder out of Pitt. Tom Telesco and AP, these guys are serious about their guys. I mean, look at the rookie class. All of them made it. All of them made it. Even a few UDFAs and Ramel Keaton and Amari Gaynor, who definitely deserved it. These guys are going all in on their guys, and I'm here for it. Byron Young made the roster. And for those who were holding out hope that Tyree Wilson wasn't going to make the roster, well, guess what, you guys? Tyree Wilson made the roster, and rightfully so. You can't give up on him that quick, that fast, and in a hurry like that. So top 10 pick, you got to allow him to develop a little bit. But what do you guys think about this? He said, Devontae Adams made the roster. Yeah, man. Waga, Bernie, Luke Masterson, Amari Gaynor, Spillane, Divine Diablo. Who's the seventh that I'm missing right now, you guys? Who's the seventh that I'm missing? 6 right there. Amari Bernie. Who am I missing? Seth Waga. Oh, Tommy Eichenberg. It's easy to forget when he hasn't seen a snap in preseason. So we're carrying 7 linebackers. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Salute to everybody here in the building. Mama Trey is in the building. Everybody show some love to Mama Trey. Courtney Caldwell, always good to see moms in the building. And I just hit up Trey, literally, moms, and said, yo, get healthy, young man. We're expecting a lot out of you moving forward. You know, I'm excited to see Trey once he gets healthy and he gets ready to go. Let me see. Let me bring up the depth chart. Once again, salute to everybody here in the building. Y'all wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I don't think the depth chart is up there yet, y'all. Is it? Let me look something up real quick. Salute to everybody here in the building as always. This is going to be a short live, you guys. Not going to be here too long. Yeah, I don't think the depth chart has dropped yet. Yeah. He's starting off the season on the IR, but designated to return. Yes, we kept 2 quarterbacks, you guys. Yep. With hopes that Carter Bradley will drop to the practice squad. I'm not mad about this. I'm not mad about this at all. And I love that we're keeping additional linebackers, you guys. Like, this is actually great. Remember that some of these guys are going to be playing a lot of snaps in special teams. A lot. Okay, so the Mwagas of the world, you see him out there getting a lot of reps at special teams. You're going to see Amari Bernie out there, you know, when healthy, playing a lot of special teams. So remember that. This is going to be one of our stronger units this year. It's going to be one of our stronger units. So you want to make sure that you have as many bodies out there as possible. So keeping 7 linebackers to me doesn't mean that you're technically keeping 7 linebackers. Some of these guys will be out there earning their bread and butter through special teams. So there you have it. Let me see. Yeah, Nesta Jade and Byron both made the 53-man roster. Yep. So, hey, they're holding out hope for our former 3rd-round pick out of Alabama, Byron Young. Salute to Mike Downs, my guy, man. Docs, always love the energy and effort you put into what you do, but I want real football. Let's go. Raiders! Salute to my guy, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you on the kind words, Mike Downs. And you've been here since the beginning, man. Salute to you, and I appreciate you on the $5 holler, man. Salute to my brother Swag in the building as well. It's good to see you in here, King. Salute to my bro. Yeah, man, Nesta Jade made the roster. We actually predicted that he would. On our projections, we had Nesta Jade being that backup to John Jenkins. I mean, the guy has the Raider mentality. He has it all, you know, skill set wise. He just has to put it all together right here. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see him moving forward. You know, I think this is John Jenkins' last year in the NFL. So we need somebody to potentially take that nose tackle spot once he moves on. So I'm hoping that Nesta Jade gets some reps. And yes, you guys, why do we even question Dylan Laube? He made the roster. He absolutely killed it during training camp. He killed it at OTAs. He had, you know, a rough preseason, but it happens. And remember this, you guys, Dylan was playing with a ton of backups in preseason. They have very high hopes for our guy Dylan out of New Hampshire, man. So I'm excited to see what he can do out there with these starters and see if he can potentially win that third that third down back spot, even over Amir Abdullah. I'm excited to see what Dylan's going to look like in this offense. Yes, Andy, I am hyped, man. I'm ecstatic over Amari Gaynor making this team. 4 running backs, 650. Just like we projected. Zeus, Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah, Dylan Lobby. Let me see. Salute to everybody here in the building. Hey, Kenny, I try to say it, man. Different strokes for different folks. This is not the previous regime. You know, Tom Telesco and company wanted to get it out there quick. Look, right when the deadline hit, boom, popped out. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Telesco presser just started. Okay, let's see what he got to say. I'm not going to put it up on screen, you guys, because I don't want to get flagged because I had people out here flagging me. So I'm going to make sure I play it cool. But let me see if I can at least get the sound on. Salute to the almost 1,000 people here in the building as well. Let me see. Make sure you guys wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Byron Young made the roster. Will Be Sports. Byron Young made it. Hasn't started yet, you guys. Just a rolling shield. So we already know how this goes. Y'all crazy, man. Yes, Ryan. I got it up on my phone right now. I will be playing the audio. Definitely playing the audio. Factory. Playing it safe. I like that. I like that, money. Talk that talk. We shall see, Alec. We shall see. Adam, 7 linebackers. 7. Moaga, which will play a lot of special teams. Amari Gaynor, Amari Burney, Tommy Eichenberg, Luke Masterson, Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo. 7 of them. So 6 receivers, 7 linebackers, 4 running backs, 2 quarterbacks. Was Ramel Keaton the biggest surprise to you, Graphk? What's the biggest shocker? There's a few. I mean, Moaga was a shocker to me, even though he played fairly well in special teams. But I assume that Ramel Keaton was going to be a guy that you can try and revert to the practice squad at some point. I'm waiting for the official depth chart to drop, you guys. It should be dropping here soon. They just have the list of people that made it. So the 53 player limit on Raiders.com. It doesn't have the actual depth chart, but it has the players that we waived, cut, released, however you want to see. David Agoa. These are the waived players, you guys. Once again, Agoa, Clark Barrington, Carter Bradley, Ben Brown, Britton Brown, Matthew Butler, Terrell Bynum, Andrew Coker, Cole Fotheringham, TJ Franklin, Wu Governor, Jaden Grant, Tulu Griffin, Marquand McCall, Sincere McCormick, Jalen McKenzie, Dax Moline, I forgot, always butcher his name, Jackson Mitchell, Will Putnam, Phelan Sanford, Noah Shannon, John Samuel Schenkner, Jaquan Shepard, Charles Snowden, Dalton Wagner, Sam Webb, Deshaun White, Rashad Williams. Players who were released outright: Cornell Armstrong, Alex Bachman, Zach Gentry, Jalen Guyton, Nathan Peterman, Christian Wilkerson, all veterans, so they get to go look for jobs elsewhere. Players that were waived/injured: Corey Luciano, Ellerson Smith, Ron Stone Jr. Some of these players we will see back on the practice squad, you guys. Our brother Trey Taylor, 7th rounder out of Air Force, was placed on the reserve/injured list, so he is designated to return at some point this season. And then officially waived/failed physical Darian Butler. So there you have it. So, and we're waiting right here, you guys, for the Tom Telesco presser. Also, for those who are tuned in, Our Brother Wasted Talent will be live soon. I believe Hammer's going to pop in at some point as well. So stay tuned. It's going to be a Shield More party today on YouTube. So stay tuned. Let me see. Oh, Sean, I mean, you got to answer that. I mean, bro, you really got to ask that question? Janarius Robinson is one of them ones, brother. He's going to be that fourth pass rusher, potentially third if Tyree can't get his shit together. Janarius Robinson is one of them ones. And don't get me wrong, I like Charles Snowden. I was hoping that he would make this roster. Yeah, King Savage, definitely, man. Our guy Trey is definitely on the roster, man. God is good. God is good. And our brother Dylan Laube also made the roster as well. Kenny, he made it. There's no need to bring him back. He's on the 53-man roster. Yes, I did. Salute to Baldy. Dropped that video on Twitter and I believe on Instagram as well. Definitely seen that. He has high hopes for Janarius Robinson as well. Coach, Laube made the roster. Now what? Now what? Drink that Jamba Juice in hell, Coach. Drink that Jamba Juice in the hell's basement. Alec, yes. Christian Wilkerson and Tulu Griffin were both cut.
1 second.
Here we go, y'all. Audio.
All right. Hey, Tom, thanks so much. Coach Pierce mentioned the other day that special teams was going to be a big-time priority when it came down to the 53-man roster, and with the number of linebackers.
Recording in progress.
And with the number of wide receivers and young wide receivers that made the roster, it seems like special teams and maybe even the new kickoff rule played a major role.
Well, it could. I mean, just roster-wise, this is kind of the starting point of where we are. But, yeah, I mean, a little bit heavy at linebacker right now.
Yeah, 7.
But I think just across the roster, you know, whether it's the new kickoff rule or not, as you get towards the back end between, 45 and 53, there has to be a pretty big special teams rule there for those players. So that always, you have to take that into account as you put this together for the initial list. But honestly, with the kickoff rule and the players that are going to be used in that fashion, we still have to see how it plays out now in the regular season when it's for real and see what teams are doing and see how it goes. But yeah, this is just how it played out right now.
Tom, specifically as it relates to wide receiver Ramel Keaton and Tyreek McAllister, they made cases for themselves in Costa Mesa and then certainly finished strong on Friday night against the 49ers. Can you talk a little bit about their growth throughout training camp and then the case that they made for 53-man roster spots?
Yeah, I think, both of them kind of showed, slow and steady improvement. I mean, that's kind of what it is when you're coming into the league as a young player. But you saw from the beginning of OTAs until that last preseason game that there's some skill there to work with. And the goal is, not to have, obviously you want to have the strongest 53-man roster possible, but to us, the practice squad is just as important. So we want to have the strongest 69-man roster as we can as we put this all together. But some of the things those guys showed, certainly what McAllister showed on special teams, which is going to have to be a role for these guys at the back end. And it was nice in that last preseason game, certainly for those two guys and some others, to play a lot of snaps. And I like how Antonio set that up in the third preseason game where a lot of young players played a lot. I mean, these guys haven't played a full game, a lot of our younger players, since their last game in college. And the way the preseason is, especially when we're going to play the starters early on, there just aren't a lot of snaps. So to get guys get a chance to get a lot of work, get in a rhythm of series after series, and to see those two guys perform in that third preseason game was certainly important.
Hey, Tom, what'd you see in the two young linebackers, the two Amaris, Bernie and Gaynor?
Salute, Jose.
Well,
I got the depth chart up
last year, so he's got a little bit bigger body of work, but very athletic and can move. And has some special teams value. So, and then Amari Gaynor is he had a really good training camp. He's got size and speed, and he shows up. He really does show up in the passing game really well. So, and again, those guys are going to have some special teams value, which I think they both have. But they're both young guys with some upside there.
Tom, you mentioned being a little heavy at linebacker. I'm curious, how much are you scouring the other waiver wires for addition, or even maybe even looking at potential trades?
Yeah, that's what everybody up here is doing now. We're probably doing the same thing you guys are doing, where we're just kind of gathering names off social media to see who's been released, since not everybody's put their cuts out yet.
Yeah.
It won't be official till around 4 or 5 o'clock. So Yeah, we've done a lot of work leading up to this as far as having reports on everybody and see who's out there who maybe can strengthen us. And that's what we'll look at tonight and tomorrow until Wednesday and Thursday and see how that plays out.
Hey, Tom, it was announced yesterday. I don't know if you guys already knew about it, but
Wipe your feet, y'all.
rule that was, I guess, approved earlier this year about being able to elevate a quarterback from the practice squad got vetoed. Did that factor at all into your decision with the 53-man, or do you think it probably would have played out the same?
No, and that happened back in March, so that was nothing new. That came out yesterday. So, but no, that didn't play into the decision at all.
Hey, Tom, I was just wondering about the thought process, I guess, on Brandon Facyson. I know you guys haven't seen a lot of him.
Thank you.
I guess what kept him around, and what do you expect him to be ready for the season?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon's shown he's been a starting level corner in this league, so he's just had a tough run of luck the last couple of weeks. But when healthy, he's been a really good player. So kind of see how it plays out from there.
Kind of sound a little unsure about Brandon Facyson.
Hey, Tom, when it comes to Tyreek McAllister coming in and translating his game from the CFL, how surprising was that? I talked to him after the game, and he talked about how much more compact an NFL field is than a CFL field, obviously. But did you see that translate at all into the way that he's able to see the game and see the field?
You know, as a returner, you have to have some athletic ability, quickness, and speed, but you also have to have some feel and instincts to it. And I think he has that. And that's, either have that or you don't. But his big transition has really been as a full-time receiver. Just hadn't done it a lot. And you guys were out there doing OTAs. If you saw him in April and May, and you see him now, you see how fast he's come.
Tired,
more comfortable playing that position. With running routes, having a feel for it, setting up his breaks. So it's been really neat to see. It's really cool to see young players, really invest in what they're doing, use all the resources they have and try and make a football team. And he's really gone above and beyond to try and do that. And, we'll see how the year plays out for him. But he's come a long way since, and these guys,
NFL Mike, I'm going to cook you tonight, bro.
The Champ Kelly and the staff here that signed him before I got here. They saw something in him in the CFL. He signed as a future before I arrived. And, what those guys saw is what you're seeing on the field right now.
Tom, obviously you guys brought in a lot of really young, talented players who are emerging. When you look at each position group, what do you think is going to be the group that veteran leadership is really going to have to take over the most and really elevate a lot of those younger guys around with them?
It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific position group, but I think all the young players need to kind of latch on and follow some of the veterans and be mentors. And, just a lot of it's just listening and watching and see how professional football players handle themselves. It's completely different than college. These young guys, they don't have to worry about going to class anymore. This is what they do for a living, and it's a business now. So there's a lot of resources that these players have. And there's a lot of things that we talk to them about that they don't even know that they have. We have to make sure they know the resources they have both on and off the field to be a great player in this league. And emphasizing some of those resources are off the field because there's a lot of things that come at you as a professional player and kind of distract you away from what you need to do to get on the field. So
a lot of changes still coming, you guys. This is not the official final roster, though.
Using our player engagement staff as much as possible with Montel Sanders and that group. And then, trying to follow some veterans and just see how this thing works.
Tom, is there anything, just overall thoughts on the 53, whether it be the strengths or when you look at this roster, your initial thoughts on what kind of team this can be and, compared to other ones you've had? Is there anything on the 53 that you can tell us overall what you think?
That's a tough question. It's just a hard question to answer. Until we start playing regular season games, and until we get to maybe week 3 or 4, when we have a really good feel for where we are on both sides of the ball, special teams, I may have a better answer for you then. But right now, every year is different and new and unique. This year's Raiders team is completely different than last year's team. And that's just natural in this league. There's a high turnover rate. So we have a lot of new players right now, whether you're a younger player or a veteran player. And this team, this 2024 team, now has to come together as one. We've done that at training camp. I thought we got some great work being away at training camp in Costa Mesa. Now we're back here in Las Vegas. Got to continue it on. But we've got a mix of some some veterans. We got some mix of some younger veterans. We got some mix of some younger players. So we're going to try and mix it all together.
Telesco looks like he don't want to do his shit right now.
Hi, Tom. So you obviously you kept 2 quarterbacks on the roster. Just want to know, are you content with going into the season with 2 quarterbacks? Are you thinking you might want to bring somebody else in, maybe on the waiver wire or otherwise?
I mean, things could always change, but right now we're looking at probably 2 on the active roster and 1 on the practice squad.
Yeah. Yep. Carter Bradley.
Tom, I'm curious. You have 9 rookies on the 53, a 10th when you look at 1 on IR. I'm just curious about the youth of this team and how happy are you as a GM to be able to see a youth movement with such a mix of veterans?
Well, it has to, that's part of the evolution of NFL rosters is you kind of have to have that young group kind of keep coming along and developing, fully knowing that a lot of these guys aren't going to have big roles this year, but they may have a small role. And who knows, as we get later into the year, when we get past Halloween and get towards Thanksgiving where they're not really rookies anymore and they may take on a bigger role. But it's really important, especially in a salary cap world, to have a good
those
base
Raider
of young
chats
players
are the
coming
worst
up through your
chats
system.
on YouTube, man.
This is just a starting point,
Absolutely
for this year's
disgusting.
group of whatever it is. You said 9 or 10. It's just a starting point of where they are. Not close to where the end point is, but this is where we are right now.
Tom, I think I counted 3 players who could play guard and center and 2 tackles who could also play guard. In today's NFL, how important is it to have that kind of versatility along your offensive line?
It's really, really important to have that because offensive linemen, 6, 7, and 8 on game day, they really need to be able to play more than one spot. And then as we progress through the year, obviously injuries are going to happen. Things are going to come up. So the more versatility, the better. So if you're not one of the starting 5, boy, you really have to have some versatility, whether you're a guard center or a guard tackle. So I think we have some of that there. We'll add to the practice squad tomorrow with some players that I think have some of that same versatility. And keep as many offensive linemen as you can. That's always the goal.
Definitely.
I've got 2 more questions. Q and Adam.
Tom, as far as the team in 2024, you said it's different than last year's team. You and Coach Pierce shared a vision of what you want this team to look like and be like. And I know it's only on paper and it's the initial 53-man, but do you feel like it's pretty close to the vision that you guys share?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have some players here that have that, have the vision we share, and we haven't played a game yet, so we got to see how things play out. But the shared vision of how we want to play on both sides of the ball, and really that vision is really the vision of your head coach. That's what you're building the team around, is his vision of how he wants to play offense and defense. You can't do that overnight. It takes time. But there are already a lot of players here when I arrived that fit his vision, and we're going to continue to add to that with this year and throughout the year. Because we talked about the roster being this is the starting point. This is the initial 53. We all know it's going to change throughout the year. It could change in the next week, even before you play the opening game. So, but we'll see how that vision plays out. Having a vision is great. We need to see it executed on the field. So that's the goal for week 1.
Tom, we often ask GMs about those difficult conversations, how tough
Last question,
job is to tell guys, that they're being released. But conversely, when you have a bunch of rookies, especially some underdogs, some long shot stories, things like that, how much joy do you get out of being able to have those talks of like, hey man, you did enough, you made it, keep going here, but you're on the team right now.
So that's interesting because we talked to all the players that we're going to release, and those are, like you said, those aren't easy to do. Like we do them all the time. You can't be callous to it. I mean, every player that we released was the best player on his high school team, more than likely was the best or one of the best players on his college team. And then they come to the NFL and it's the first time they've been told we don't have a spot for you. So those aren't easy to do. Luckily for 98% of these players, they will have another opportunity somewhere else or back with us. But the players who quote unquote make the team, if we don't bring them in, sit them down and say, hey, you made the team. They don't get a phone call and they come into work the next day like they're coming to work. They're on the football team. So everybody's here today. I'd often thought about that. Do you bring in some guys who maybe were on the bubble and you tell them? But honestly, in my career, we really haven't done that. We expect every player in their mind to expect to be here. If nobody comes to get you to tell you that you're going to move on, then you're on this football team until we tell you otherwise. So But I think for a lot of the guys, for the younger players that are fighting for a spot, I think they probably feel good today. But the nature of this business, it's a day-to-day league for all of us. So just never know how long it's going to last. You can't really sit back, put your feet up, and celebrate that. You got to get ready, for the next practice. Because professional football, everybody's looking to take somebody's job at some point. So right now, everybody's goal is now the opening game. It's no longer about training camp and preseason games, but it's getting ready for the Chargers. But it's an interesting process. But those guys that really can't celebrate it for too long.
Love it.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right. End of the presser, y'all. Let's look at this depth chart before we get out of here. Once again, salute to everybody here in the building. As always, I appreciate every single one of y'all. We just did a over 2 hour long show right before this. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for rocking with me the way you guys rock with me. Let's get this depth chart. Salute to my guy Jose, who sent me this. Boom. This is our official depth chart, or at least right now. There's going to be a few moves being made to add some additional talent, through free agency, with some of these guys getting cut. So it'll look a little different come week 1, but this is our official first depth chart going into 2024. So the wide receiver position, we kept 6, you guys. Devontae, Tyreek McAllister, Ramel Keaton, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, DJ Turner. Those are your 6 wide receivers at this point that are on the active roster. You look at left tackle, Colton Miller, Andres Pete will be backing him up. Kind of scary. Left guard, Cody Whitehair with Jackson Powers Johnson backing him up. So it looks like right now Cody Whitehair will be the starting left guard, at least going into week 1. Things can change. We already know. Dylan Parham, starting right guard with Jordan Meredith, who made the roster, y'all, right behind him, backing him up at right guard. Thayer Mumford will be our starting right tackle with rookie third rounder out of Maryland, backing them up at right tackle, DJ Glaze. You love to see it. Tight end position. Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers are both your starters. A lot of 12 personnel. They both will be on the field together the majority of the time, with Harrison Bryant being the third tight end on the roster. So we kept 3. 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. The quarterback room, simple and plain. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell. Easy peasy. Running backs, Zamir, Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah, Dylan Laube. That's exactly what I projected. Then you look at our defensive end room. Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntz, Janarius Robinson. So those are your 4 edge rushers going into the week 1. Defensive tackle, John Jenkins at the nose with Byron Young backing him up. Christian Wilkins with Adam Butler backing him up. Malcolm Kuntz, we already did that, the defensive end with Janarius Robinson backing him up. So we ended up keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually defensive tackles with Nesta J. Severi. He'll be the one that'll be backing up John Jenkins as the nose tackle. So we got Byron Young, Adam Butler. Those will be our backup DTs with John Jenkins, the starting nose, with Nesta J backing him up. Outside linebacker, Divine Diablo, Luke Masterson. I think it's Kanai Mwaga. He'll be getting a lot of special team reps, but this is a shocker. He made this. We kept 7 linebackers. Amari Gaynor, baby. It's great to see him on that list. Middle linebacker, Robert Spillane, Tommy Eichenberg, Amari Burney. Didn't see him out there in preseason. He's dealing with an injury, but it's good to see our 6th-round guy out of Florida making the roster as well. He'll be getting a lot of special team reps also. Cornerback, the nickel, Nate Hobbs, starter. We already know. MJ Devonshire looks like he will be getting those backup reps at the nickel spot with Jacorian Bennett and D-Cam on the outside with Jack Jones and Brandon Faison. So we kept 6 corners. Brandon Faison did make the roster, even though he's dealing with those injuries. But it's going to be interesting to see if he sticks on, because there's going to be some other guys that we could potentially bring in free agency here in a second. Free safety, Trayvon Merrick, clear cut. Isaiah Palomal will be backing him up. Marcus Epps, strong. Chris Smith backing him up as strong safety. And our guy, Trey Taylor, will start the season off on the IR with an injury, but he will be back at some point. But he did make this roster. And then you look right here, special teams, AJ Cole, Daniel Carlson, easy. Jacob Obermoyer, easy. Kick returner, Amir Abdullah, DJ Turner, Dylan Laube. Punt returner, Trey Tucker, Amir Abdullah, and I have a nagging suspicion, you guys, that will change here soon. You may have to throw Tyreek McAllister out there as well, returning kicks at some point because the dude is a phenomenal talent. So salute to Fred Hampton as well on becoming a member. Hey, Fred, I want to ask you this, man. I could have swore I seen you in the Raiders chat right now calling me toxic. Salute to Fred Hampton, my guy. Yes, Ron. Juice box, baby. I see my guy Martin say, I got to get out of this chat and go back to graphics, man, because this is too toxic. And he said, well, Graphk is toxic too. But welcome, brother. You know what you were wrong about? 3 tight ends. 3 tight ends. Yo. He said, yep, it's all good. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm toxic, but, you know. Yeah, wasted is toxic. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Mr. Graphk Raiders not. Yeah, we don't do toxicity, man. Salute to my brother Hug D's in the building. But yeah, you guys, that is what we have here with the final 53-man roster. Once again, there will be a change here in a second because I do believe we're going to look at some corners here in free agency very, very soon. We talked about the Adoree Jacksons of the world. We talked about a few other names. Keep an eye on. You know, we're going to have to be on just like Tom Telesco said, right? Looking at social media and keeping up with some of these teams who are cutting some of these guys. So definitely keep an eye on some of these names that will be dropping here shortly. Salute to Potbelly. Toxic Docs, man. Toxic Docs, man. Fred says, we all are to a point. We're Raider fans. Yo, hey Mike, it's easy to do that, right? You can't beef with anybody because there's nobody to beef with. Like when you're a Charger fan, like you can't beef with each other because there's no other. Who are you gonna beef with? Bro, that is the one. Doxic. Yo, Fred, you started something, brother. You started something. Doxic. Tox ENT. Oh my God, man. Salute to everybody here in the building. Swamp Foot Doxic. Coming up on 45 minutes, y'all. Real quick before we get out of here, I want to ask you guys this take. How do you feel about what this team looks like going into week 1? Once again, there will be a few moves here being made shortly. But how do you feel about the initial final 53-man roster? A lot of moving parts here. 7 linebackers, 6 receivers, 3 tight ends. How do you feel initially about what we got going on over here? OakLosVegas. Yo, y'all are hilarious, man. Hey, once again, if you guys can tune in, we got almost 1,100 people here in the building. Tune in tonight, AFC West Roundtable. I'm going to cook NFL Mike's boots. I'm going to cook Ben's boots. I'm going to kick all these guys' boots. Pull up to the AFC West Roundtable tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll be over there having a good time tonight with my guys, breaking down everything AFC West related. So make sure you guys tune in. I'm not going to, stay here too long. I got to get my son's dinner together and get situated before this show tonight. Just wanted to do a quick 30, 45-minute show of the final 53-man roster. Salute to Pace. Can't remember the last time they kept the UDFAs that deserved it more than the vet guys. Kept UDFAs that I actually love at that. This is facts. Facts, man. Somebody put the AFC West Roundtable link in the chat if you guys can. Victor, you can just look up AFC West Roundtable on YouTube. It's on there. But this is facts, Pace. Ramel Keaton, Amari Gaynor. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. But let me get my son together, man. He got football practice here in about an hour. I got to feed him real quick. Salute to you guys as always. And make sure you guys pull up on Waste is Live. He'll be live here in the next, I think, 30, 45 minutes. Pull up over there. I believe Hammer's going to do a live. And then you guys pull up once again to the AFC West Roundtable show tonight. As always, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm out. One.
That's what I'm talking about.